Today we are going to give you guys a tour of the all-new Approach Adventure Van by Outside Van. And this is a really unique van because it actually seats 4 people and sleeps 4 people comfortably. And we're really excited because we can only imagine how many great memories all the families that own this van are going to make. So let's go ahead and take a full tour. To start with, the Approach is built on the Mercedes Sprinter 170-inch all-wheel drive chassis, and this is by far the best platform to build a van like this. So to start out, you have the best van that's going to be the most long-lasting because this is a vehicle that most people will keep for many, many years. Now let's take a look at all the features that Outside Van has added to the van and give you guys an idea of what is included with the build. All right, to start with, we have some cool, unique graphics here, and also Outside Van has taken the front grille and blacked out the logo just to give it a unique look. I really love the look of this van. It looks a little bit stealthy, but also when you take a look at it, you can definitely tell that it is an adventure van. Also, we have some lights here on the front grille. Those are going to help illuminate the road when you're driving in dark conditions. And then up top, a large 50-inch light bar. So if you are traveling off of the main highways, you're going to be able to see everything that's in front of you. And this is really important because it's a safer way to drive. And also if you're looking for a campsite or something like that, you're going to have really good illumination. All right, moving around to this side here. Included with the van are going to be really nice tires. So these are the BF Goodrich KO2, and this is a custom rim done by Outside Van. And one of the great things about it is this trim right here is actually removable and replaceable. So if you happen to catch a curb and scratch this, you can easily replace it and get back to the original look. There is a suspension upgrade on here as well. It's Fox shocks in the front and Fox shocks in the rear, and then also the upgraded heavy-duty leaf spring pack. So having driven this all day yesterday and then up into the mountains today, I can tell you that this van drives really well. It feels good on the road. We were on some bumpy conditions, so the suspension upgrade and the wheels and tires are definitely performing well based on kind of the first review. Another great feature are the AMP power steps. So these are fabulous because they tuck up. When you're in conditions where there's going to be a lot of rocks, you're not going to scratch or break your steps. And when you open the door, they automatically come down, close the door, and they go back up. And at nighttime, these are illuminated. So this is probably my favorite step for a van like this. All right, we also have a custom ladder by Outside Van. And this has tread on the top. And I actually learned yesterday in the tour that you can also flip these over, and so the tread is facing down. So for instance, if you're the type of person who climbs the ladder with bare feet a lot, you might want to turn the treads down. But if you have snow boots on or other types of footwear where you need grip, then you can turn the treads up. And again, in the rear, there is the upgraded leaf spring pack. The purpose of that is to really hold the weight that is in the back of the van better, so you don't get sagging. This van, while not a super heavy van, it's fully built out, and if the leaf spring pack was not present, you'd probably see the back end riding a little bit lower. The manufacturer has taken all of the necessary steps to make sure the van is going to ride level given the weight that it is carrying. On the side of the van here, we have the shore power inlet. So if you have external power and you want to charge up your batteries, or you just want to run directly off of shore power and not use the batteries, this is where you will connect to that. We also have 2 water inlets here. This one is for city water, and then the second one here is to fill with non-pressurized water. So you can actually fill the tank with jugs. There is a little key to open this to keep your water safe, but if you have a proper jug and a funnel, then you can use this to fill the water tank, which is pretty cool because you might not always have pressurized water. Coming around to the back, there is a custom bumper, which is really important because if you're trying to get up in the van, this is going to be a nice step for you to do that comfortably. There is also an air compressor under the hood, and this is one of the outlets here. one of the connection points so that if you are airing down your tires, you have a quick way to air them back up. Or if you want to air up bicycle tires or inflatables, this is a great place to do it. And just as a note, there are 3 of these air connection points throughout the van, including one that's right inside the slider door, and that is a really smart choice because that's where you're going to be cleaning up before you get in the van, so it's great to have pressurized air. A couple other things of note. This van does have the full 360-degree cameras, as you can see in the center there, and then also some rear scene lights. So those are floodlights that when you're working in the back of the van, you will be illuminated. So if you're packing up late at night, you're gonna have plenty of light and not gonna leave anything outside that you forgot or you didn't notice because it was too dark. Outside van has included the 180-degree hinges on the back of the van here. So there's no equipment mounted on the back of the van standard with the purchase, but you can always add boxes or other types of gear hauling equipment, and you won't have to change out the hinges, which is really great because replacement hinges are pretty expensive. So the van does also come with a trailer hitch attachment, and that is compatible with this rear bumper. So if you do want to haul something, the capacity for hauling on the Sprinter van is about 5,000 pounds. So that's perfect if you have something that you don't want to put in the van, you want to haul your motorcycles, or you want to haul a small trailer or transport something, all of the vans will come with the trailer hitch. And coming around to the passenger side, you can see that the van does come with a nice 13-foot long awning with the attachment points that go back to the body of the van. And I think this is a great way to actually set up the awning, because if it does get a little bit windy, rather than having the poles in the ground where the wind can kind of kick them out or take them away, this is a really sturdy connection. And you would be comfortable having this awning out with winds up to 15 to 20 miles an hour without worrying about it blowing away. A couple other things of note here. There are also floodlights, rigid lights on the back upper part of the van and also the front upper part. So again, if you need light outside, then you're gonna have plenty of light. Everything has been thought of. And these are some of the accessories that you do not get with other vans. And that's one thing that I'm really happy to see with this production model, is that all of the things that you would expect to be included are already on the van, and you're not gonna have to spend more money after buying it to get all the features that you would have expected it to have off the production line. So there are 3 of these CR Laurence awning windows. There's 2 on the passenger side here and 1 on the driver's side. And these are gonna help ventilate the van. So if you turn the roof fans on the inside, even if it's raining, you're gonna be able to get fresh air in the van. And since there are 3 of them, plus 2 other ventilated windows, you can really keep the van fresh and keep it cool without having to turn the air conditioner on. We'll show you guys also on the passenger side, the extended amp step, which covers the front passenger door and the entire sliding door. And again, both sides are illuminated, so at night, stepping out onto the step, visibility is good and you're not going to miss your step and potentially hurt yourself. Before we go inside and give you the inside tour, I do want to take you guys up and show you the roof rack, because one of the things that Outside Van has done is actually include a real roof rack that you can use to store all of your gear, and it has a lot of different options, so let's go around and take a look at that. All right, so let's take a look at all the cool stuff that's on top of this van. So first we have a gear tray, and this is actually movable. So if you want to put your gear further back, you can unbolt it and move it, or you can take it out completely. But it's just a really unique and cool option for quickly storing some gear and strapping it down. We also have 2 of these large crossbars. And again, everything in here is movable and configurable. So if you're gonna put a box up here, or you want to use this for surfboards or holding skis or your snowboards, basically you can configure it for whatever adventure that you wanna do. And I just really love that Outside Van did not overlook the importance of the roof rack. They've even included L-track on both sides for easy attachment. There are a couple places that you can potentially stand up here, and with having 2 fans, an air conditioner, and a solar panel, there's still room to add even more to the roof rack. In terms of the solar panel, up here we have a 140 watt ZAMP solar panel. So that is the highest quality solar panel that you can get, made in the USA, and 2 MAXXAIR fans and the air conditioner. So fortunately, with a 170 van, all of that fits comfortably with room to store your gear. And also the roof rack itself, it is a custom roof rack and it is really sturdy. I would not hesitate to add a couple more crossbars onto this, or if you have other things that you want to store up here. This is not a flimsy roof rack by any means. And again, it's just really nice that Outside Van has taken into consideration the fact that people do have gear, they want to go on an adventure, and this gives you a great place to store all of that. Before we even step inside, you guys, so many features in this van. It's pretty unbelievable how much they've packed into this. So first of all, we have full roll-up screen doors here. And so you can bring these down and still get some airflow without letting any bugs in. And they're magnetic on both sides. So once they're down, you can easily enter the front and the back of the van just by pushing open the screen. And then when you go through, it will magnet back. There's also down here another attachment point for the air compressor. Also, we have a few other features here. There's a button right here to bring up the step or bring it down. So if that makes sense for you to have it up because you're working around here and don't want it down, you can do that. Also up top, we have an interior light. We've got the exterior lights. There's just so many features that are in here, and it doesn't feel like any other production van has really gone to the lengths of adding, again, all those features that you really appreciate, even though you might not recognize that they're there for your first few trips. Eventually you will, and you'll be glad that they're included. Okay, so let's go ahead and step inside and look at this 4-person camper van. Let's start with the seats on the interior. This is definitely one of the most important features. There are very few camper vans that seat 4 people legally with seat belts and comfortably for long trips. So these seats are custom made for Outside Van for this particular model. They have very soft leather, really nice armrests. The seats do recline all the way back to there, so you can actually catch some Z's while you're driving down the road. And also they do swivel. So the seats will swivel all the way around and lock into place. So depending on who's hanging out where, you can actually see the people in the back and be using the front seats for seating. And again, these are extremely comfortable. I could definitely do 4 to 6 hours in the seat, no problem. One of the questions that I know you guys are gonna have is, are these seats removable? And the answer is yes. You actually just can push this down, pop the seat out, and then the base is flush mounted. So it would be really easy to just put a basic mat over this. So if you're not traveling with 4 people, pull the seat out, have more room to get in and out, and you don't have anything to walk over where the seat base is. Outside Van has gone through the extra step of removing the factory leatherette that's on these seats and matching it to the rear seats. So it's just one of those nice details when you do buy a van like this and you're looking for something that's high quality. It's just really nice to see that the manufacturer is matching everything up and giving you the best quality materials possible. In terms of the actual van, the approach is going to be the fully spec'd out Sprinter. So that includes things like leather steering wheel, full adaptive cruise control, heated seats, the 12.5-inch screen, charging points up front, full air conditioning and climate control up here, charging points below. So basically you are getting the best Mercedes Sprinter available with all of the options that you would want. And then on top of it, nice accessories have been added to it by Outside Van, such as this S-Pod, which controls the air compressor and the lights. Basically, throughout the whole vehicle, you're getting the highest quality available, and that's what you would expect from Mercedes and Outside Van. This is one of my favorite features, and this should really be on every camper van like this. But we have a partition that separates the front of the van from the back of the van. This is good for so many reasons. Obviously, these are your blackouts, so you don't need to put window curtains up on the front windshield and the driver and passenger window. This is really a much simpler way to do it. It makes a lot more sense. Also, if you are trying to keep the front cabin cool while you're driving in hot weather, you can put this down so you're not exchanging the cool air with the back of the van. And vice versa, if you're trying to cool or heat the back of the van, the coldest and warmest spot is always going to be up there in the front because it's not well insulated due to all the glass. So this is just a really brilliant addition that is going to help with the climate control, with the privacy, and just generally, keeping the van separated from the front and the back. Really important in a van this big is the air conditioner. And this is a 20,000 BTU air conditioner that runs on 48 volts. So the power system on this van is a Volta, and it has over 1,000 amp hour equivalent. But at 48 volts, this is going to be the most efficient way to run an air conditioner. And just in some basic testing, it's been really hot these past couple of days. This only draws about 1,000 watts. So for 20,000 BTU, 1,000 watts is a very low power draw. And I had this running for a couple hours yesterday. It was about 95 degrees outside. And due to the really good insulation and all of the window covers that are included, it was very comfortable back here, even though it was super hot outside. Over here, we have a CR Lawrence T-vent window. So you have 2 screened vents, and there are window shades on every window that come standard, so that's not something you have to purchase separately. And I really like the way that Outside Van does their window shades because they're permanently in place, so you don't have to have a place to store them, but you can also pull them off if you don't want them on there. And they use a snapping system. So basically, just do that, fold it down, snap them down, that makes sense, and put them back up quite easily. We have plenty of storage, especially around the kitchen area. There are 2 large cabinets here. This one is empty. This one does house the portable induction cooktop. So this makes a lot of sense because you don't always need the cooktop, and if you do, it's easy enough to just pull it out of here, set it on the countertop and use it. Or if you want to cook outside, there are outlets at the back of the van and the side door. So you could actually take this outside and do your cooking out there. A couple more features over here. There is a reading light that's just for this seat here. And then there are lights right over the galley, which is nice because otherwise it can be a little dark under here if you're cooking. So there are 2 lights over the galley and 1 reading light up here, along with 8 lights in the ceiling. And the lights are dimmable, which is really great because late at night, you don't always want to have full light in here. So they put the switches right over here, and you can just hold the button down and the lights will dim. Push it again, and they go up to full power. At the galley here, we have a really nice solid surface countertop, cutting boards that can be taken away, a very generous sink, a large refrigerator with a small freezer in it, but this looks to be about 100 liters. It's a big fridge for a van. There are storage drawers here for silverware and such. And then there's a little pantry here for storing food or gear, whatever you might want. And let's not forget a small microwave. So being that there's plenty of power on board, it would be nice to quickly reheat some food with the microwave here. In the back, we do have a sound system that has 2 speakers in the rear door and then 2 speakers in the ceiling. So if you want to have some music while the van is shut off, you can use the sound system, open up the back doors, and if you're having a little party, you can have nice sound in here. There is also a small television that is available here in the back with the DVD players. And then this configuration is also one of the unique features about this van. So this table is on 2 pedestals, and you can have it here, or it can be moved up front so that the 2 front seats, which swivel, can use the table with the 2 rear seats. So there's really multiple options and places to sit. And one of the things that I really like about this van is if you really did have 4 people in here, there are plenty of places for people to sit. You could have 2 people back here eating or working, 2 people up front. There's also another large bench for sitting here. And at the same time, you have a bed that can be made up here. So there's just a lot of versatility and a lot of different places for people to hang out. It feels like you could actually have a nice night in here without people being on top of each other. It doesn't feel claustrophobic. Just so you guys know, Outside Van, they've built thousands of vans, and one of the things that they do really well is all of the details. So when we're looking at the windows and the window trim, the materials, the seams, the screws, all of it is super high quality, and it makes you feel like you're in a luxury van. And that can definitely not be said about all of the production model vans that are available on the market. I think by far, this is the best quality van that I've ever been in that is a production van. Another nice feature, there is L-track, 2 rows of L-track, so that if you do want to put some more gear or hanging storage bags, both on the driver's side and the passenger side in the back, you have 2 rows that are going to allow you to make a lot of upgrades possible. A couple other things we have are 2 MAXXAIR fans. So there's one here over the bed and there's one in the middle of the van. If the weather is hot but not too hot, you're going to just be able to open those and ventilate and cool the van down without having to run the air conditioner. The Approach has a massive 1000 amp hour Volta power system. And if you guys don't know, 1000 amp hours is a lot of battery storage. And also the Volta is a very high quality system. The controls for the system are located right up here. So you're able to see the state of charge, the power flow, meaning how much power is being taken from the system or being added to the system. Also, the number of hours remaining at the current power draw. And that's super useful because if you turn on the air conditioner, that's going to be your highest power consumption device. And you'll be able to see at a glance how many hours of air conditioning you have before you would need to charge up. A couple other things of note, there is a ZAMP 140 watt solar panel on top. So whenever you're in the sun, you're going to be getting charging. So another important feature is that the van comes with a secondary alternator. So there are 2 alternators on the van, one to charge the starter battery and the other, which is a high output, to charge the Volta power system. And just doing a quick test on this, when we first drove this van off of the lot, it was at about 25 to 30% state of charge, and just 2 hours of driving down the road, and it was already up to 90%. So even though you're going to potentially be using a lot of power with the air conditioner and some of the other equipment that's on here, whenever you drive, you're going to be getting fast charging for the batteries, and that is super important. Obviously, the final way to charge is if you do have shore power and you plug in, that's also going to be a very quick way to charge up your batteries. And while you are plugged in, you're able to actually charge the batteries and pass through the AC power to all your devices. So if you needed to be somewhere for multiple days and it was going to be really hot and you wanted to run the air conditioner the whole time, but you weren't going to be driving the van, then finding a place to plug in is definitely the way to go, because you can run the air conditioner indefinitely and charge the batteries at the same time. So let's talk also now about the heating system. So this is a full Rixson hydronic heating system. And I can tell you from using this system that it really cranks. If it's cold outside and you turn that heater on, especially with the good insulation that this van has, it's going to be plenty warm for you to move around here comfortably without having to wear a coat, even when the temperature outside is as low as 0 degrees. And the control for that is right here next to the Volta power control. You can turn on the furnace, the hot water independently, set your fan speeds, and set your temperature that it will maintain right from here. The other thing about the Rixson system is if you do happen to be plugged into shore power, then you can actually electrically heat the whole system rather than using the diesel burner. In terms of outlets in the van, the outside van has put power outlets everywhere. So there are at least 4 different locations where you're going to have 110 connections for AC power, and then there are USB outlets placed in all of the places that you would think that they need to be. So now let's take a look at the water system. The van comes with a 20-gallon interior freshwater tank, and the nice thing about that tank being inside is that as long as you take some precautions, you can use it throughout the entire winter. So if you're going on a ski trip and you are keeping the interior of the van warm, the tank won't freeze and the lines won't freeze. So it truly is a 4-season van in that way. Also, the water system is really well designed in that it's completely accessible and serviceable. So again, not all vans have taken this into consideration, and some vans have water systems and power systems that are totally hidden away and they're very hard to get to. One thing that Outside Van has done is really design this for serviceability. So when you open up the power cabinet and the water cabinet, not only is everything really well laid out and professionally done, but also you actually have some elbow room to work. One of the other features here is that this van does have a shower on board. So it is located right here under this bench. There is a shower curtain, and this connects up to the L track here and actually all the way around this vent. So if you are taking a shower, you can turn on the exhaust vent and get all of the moist air out immediately. This is the shower hose, and it connects in the shower and also has a spot here to hang it. And this is the same shower hose that you can use in the back of the van. So right out the back doors, same connection, same attachment if you want to do an outdoor shower. An Outside Van does even include a shower curtain for the back doors, which is typically right in here, or you could store it in there. But if you want to do an outdoor shower, you can do it with some privacy. So 2 ways to shower in this van, which is really great. So the other super unique feature about this van is it does comfortably sleep 4 people. So with 2 levels of sleeping, you actually have 2 queen-size beds in here, plenty of room for 4 people comfortably. All right, so let's take a look at what's in the back doors of the approach. We have some nice little mesh bags here for storing things like this water hose and the extra hose for the air compressor. You can see where the speakers are up top, and then everything is right where you need it. So we have a shower outlet right here with a switch for the water pump. So if you don't have your water pump on, you don't have to go inside to turn it on. The switch is right there. Also over here, 110 volt outlet, 12 volt outlet, and then all of the switches for the lights. And including the upper rigid rear lights, there are also 2 LED strip lights up here and a gear light under this. These gear lights also work really well for mood lighting or night lighting if you don't want to turn on the upper lights. So look how cool this is. We have 2 levels of sleeping, even a 3rd one for the pup down there, so you can get the whole family in here. If I haven't made it clear already, by the way, the unique thing about this approach van by Outside Van is that they didn't skimp, and you really don't need to buy anything else once you get this van. You may want to have a couple different little things to hold your specific gear for the activity that you love, but you can drive away with this knowing that everything is included and you can head straight out on an adventure without having to gather up more accessories. Again, they have thought of everything, and they are the leaders in this type of van build. So very impressed with it, and I think you guys will be too once you see it in person. If you're a family of 4 looking for adventure, this is the best van on the market. It seats 4, it sleeps 4, and it has all of the systems you need to have a full-on adventure. And I'm so excited for Vanland to be a dealer for Outside Van's new production models, because I only want to put my name on things that I truly believe in. And I've done the full inspection, I've looked at all the systems, and we've done the full tour at Outside Vans to see exactly how this is put together. And I can tell you that it is the real deal. The quality is there, the systems are there, it's gonna last a long time, and it's designed really well for 4 people, so come take a look at it. We're gonna have this on display at Vanland. We want you to get inside and see for yourself. The Approach 170 by Outside Van.